let's get started here. Like I said, this is the last session. In this session, we're going to be talking all about how to scale and grow your online business. One of the most important aspects of growing an online business. I've had a lot of roadblocks over the time of going to six figures, from six figure to seven figure to eight figure in my online business. And I wanted to kind of share some of the pains, struggles, and challenges that I've had, as well as maybe hear from you guys and hear what are some of the biggest challenges that you have had in growing your business. So we'll talk about that in just a second. But again, just to kind of recap the goals for this Income Machine workshop, hopefully you guys have seen the first two sessions. October 1st is when we went through the overall Income Machine framework, outlining the fundamentals of an online business, which basically the fundamentals work in any industry or niche. It really doesn't matter. We talked about the foundation of an email list. We talked about just all sorts of stuff that you need to grow a successful online business, that every successful online entrepreneur has. On October 6th, we talked all about product creation, product marketing, and we talked about a byproduct of product creation, which is building an email list of buyers. So if you guys missed either of those, I'll go ahead and just put this link right into the chat box. So if you did miss them, whoops, let's see if I can click right here. You can go ahead and just bookmark that and check it out, because those replays are up for you to watch, just in case you did miss them. So this third webinar, which is today, is all about scaling and growth of your online business. And so the agenda for this workshop session is how to grow into an eight-figure business, what I call the smart way, which is really being on a bootstrapped budget. For up until getting to $1 million worth of sales, I was bootstrapping my entire business. I figured out ways to not have really any overhead whatsoever, besides just some of my employees, and really even the employees that I found are relatively inexpensive compared to people that have full-time employees in-house with a big office and all that kind of stuff. And so I've been able to do a lot of things that many people are not able to do when it comes to growing an online business, and I'd like to share those with you. I'll also show you how I was able to turn $10 an hour into $250,000 the lazy way. So you guys are going to learn a lot of really cool tips and tricks on outsourcing, how to streamline, how to build systems, all that kind of fun stuff. So feel free to chime in if you'd like to. I'm going to be monitoring the chat box as well, so feel free to ask any questions. We will definitely reserve some time at the end to answer any questions that you may have, so feel free to chime in. I want to make sure that this is an interactive webinar, that you guys are getting a lot out of it, and that I'm answering any questions that you may have, okay? Now, if you guys don't know who I am, if this is your first time on one of my webinars, I usually get right to the point. I don't have a lot of fluff, a lot of just rambling on for hours at a time. I like to get right down to business and hit the ground running. So just a little bit of background, just 5 minutes quickly about who I am. I'm an internet marketer. I've been doing this full time for about 8 or 9 years now. I started in doing client services, client marketing for local businesses, things like SEO, pay-per-click, social media, email marketing, all that kind of stuff. And I worked for a few different marketing agencies for about 3 or 4 years. I got fired from my agency job, kind of had one foot out the door, because I always knew that I wasn't built to work for anybody else, I guess, which was a blessing in disguise when I got fired, because it kind of lit a fire under my butt to go off and start my own business. And so I did that about 3 or 4 years ago, and I was able to make that transition from doing client services, which it's not necessarily a bad thing. People make a good living off of it, but I was able to find this whole other side of internet marketing, which was product creation, affiliate marketing, being able to create a product once and market it time and time again and have it make you money 24/7. It was a beautiful thing, to say the least. And it's really changed my life, my family's life, and I haven't looked back since then. So I live in North Carolina, and I have a wife and a daughter. She's 3 years old now. In that picture, she was 1. She'll be 3 in November. So it's pretty amazing how time flies. Now let me ask you guys a few questions. If you guys wouldn't mind just a little bit of participation, what percentage of you are in your business are you currently outsourcing? Is it 0%? Are you not outsourcing at all? Is it 50%? Is it 95%? I just want to get a good understanding of who actually has, virtual assistants, other workers, employees who are helping you in your online business. If you guys wouldn't mind chiming in on the chat panel, that would be great. And I kind of had a feeling. Okay, so 0% doing everything on myself, 1% outsourcing, none, but I need to, right? Yep, 10%. Okay, good. Maybe a few more if you wouldn't mind. All alone and lonely. I know how it goes. Believe me, I was there. One woman show, 0%. Yep. I mean, I know exactly how you guys feel. I was in that same boat, and it's a real hard thing to break. I mean, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It is hard to get away from that mindset that you need to do everything yourself, right? I mean, I've always been a huge proponent of outsourcing as soon as you can, even if it's just a little bit, even if it's just small tasks, just small day-to-day things that are just eating up your time. Okay. Now, let me ask you this question. What are your biggest challenges from growing your online business? If you guys wouldn't mind chiming in. Yeah, John says entrepreneurs are control freaks. We sure are. It is very difficult to let go, okay? But I'll hopefully by the end of this webinar you guys will have a little bit more clarity on how you can let go a little bit, and how you can grow the right way while still having control over your online business. So if you guys wouldn't mind just chiming in, what are some of your biggest challenges? Why haven't you been able to grow? What roadblocks are you stumbling into? Okay. Okay. Um, Time is my biggest challenge to make the first leap from regular 9 to 5 to own my online business. Yep, that's a big one. Complete overwhelm. Yep, yeah, information overload. Right, there's tons of information out there. Niche selection and positioning. Okay, lack of focus and buying too many shiny objects. There are too many people buying too many shiny objects. I can tell you that, and I can tell you that just because of all the shiny objects that are being launched, right? I mean, there's products that actually have a certain function in your business, and then there's shiny objects that people just love to buy, right? And it happens way too often, and it's going to continue to happen until people stop buying those products. But it is unfortunate. Mind holdups, consistent targeted buyers traffic. Okay. New start, new business. Okay. Stuck on setting up all the components, autoresponders, video, funnels, time, and yes, shiny objects. Too many coaches, but which one to pick? All right. Well, hopefully I can answer that question for you by the end. But okay, well, guys, thank you for all of that input. It gives me a little bit more background on who's on the call and kind of where you guys are. And so let's lay it out on the line here, right? There's only 24 hours in a day. You can only do so much yourself, and an online business has so many moving parts and so many elements to it that if you try to do everything yourself, it's going to be overwhelmed. There's customer service, there's the marketing aspect, there's the actual creation of the product or service, there's design, there's development, there's fulfillment of products, there's accounting, and then there's that daily BS, I call it, right? It's just normal day-to-day stuff that just pops up, right? That just eats up your time, whether it's email or talking to someone on Skype or Facebook, or the kid runs in the door, and there's only so much time. And the thing that you need to remember is that you need to be efficient with your time, right? And that's something that I am extremely anal about. I am like efficiency extraordinaire. Okay. Like whenever there's something that's eating up my time, I figure out a solution for how I can minimize my time, because my time is very valuable, and your time is valuable as well. Okay. And you need to understand that. And so I broke up my career, at least up until now, into a few different phases. And the first phase I had was there was me, and I was doing everything myself, and the the stuff I was putting out was just okay because I was trying to do everything myself. I would rush, and I just wasn't really getting anywhere. Right? It was just that straight line. If you're looking at a graph and you see a straight line, that's kind of your growth. There is no growth, right? But if you can employ and bring on smart people around you who you strategically bring them on as you need help, right? That's when you can really start to make an impact in your business. And so we'll talk about that in a little bit more, exactly what I mean. But phase one is kind of, hiring on as needed basis, right? At first, when I first started, I needed just a general assistant, someone to help me with that day-to-day BS that eats up 70% of your day, right? And so that I just looked and see what was eating up my day, and I would just pass it off to them, and now this person wasn't full time. I'd hire them out. Maybe it was $3 to $5 an hour. It wasn't anything crazy, just to kind of unload those initial things. And maybe, if I'm creating a small piece of software, I'd hire a developer on a project basis. And so that was kind of the first phase, was just, hiring one or two people, trying to learn how to do outsourcing, how to manage a very small group of part-time people. Okay. Now, as things progressed, and I'll show you guys in more detail how things progressed later, I was able to start to hire more people. And so phase two was not only would I hire more people, but I would bring on a partner, someone who, I could work together with, that we both had the same goals, and we both wanted to, put together a product that we can market and start making money from. And so, I strongly, strongly recommend, if you're out there alone, by yourself, trying to do everything yourself, find a partner that you can work with. Okay. It was one of the best decisions I've ever made. That's what a lot of people do, just to start out. And that is one of the smartest things you can do, because it offloads a lot of the pressure of you having to do everything yourself, and you can complement each other. Okay. And so, having another partner meant, we have double the resources, double the, maybe an initial startup cost for a product. Just double the amount of time. Now, yes, granted, if you have a partner, it's, you're only getting maybe half of that revenue from whatever it is that you generate, but there is so much more opportunity that comes with having a partner, and we'll talk about that in a second. But as I hired a partner, we were able to bring on a few other people that may have been part-time, but, this time we could have a designer who, maybe our sales pages looked a little bit nicer this time. And we had a customer support person that could help manage support. And so all this stuff happened little by little. It doesn't happen overnight, and especially as you're just starting out. Okay. But that was kind of the second phase, was bringing on a partner that we could work together, collaborate, and then hire part-time people to help fulfill whatever it is that we were trying to do. Okay. Now, this would be the second part of this second phase was, just replicating what I did. So instead of having one partner, having two or three partners, right? And maybe simultaneously creating a few different projects. So maybe one was a real short-term project that we were, trying to get together in 2 to 4 weeks or whatever it may be. Then maybe there was another project that I partnered with someone, and this was a long-term project, right? And then at that, as you have more partners, you start to build your network, you start to build resources, right? And so that was how I kind of expanded. I didn't necessarily expand on my own right away. I expanded on the number of partners. Okay. Now, as I progress, and as you start to build more and more assets, and we'll talk about this again in a little bit. You're starting to build an email list. You're starting to build new products. You're starting to build affiliate relationships. You're starting to build new everything. It's kind of a snowball technique, or a snowball method. And so then phase three was when I was able to kind of break away from doing things with partners and being able to hire solely my own small group of people that were working solely for me. And, after those first few phases, I started to get pretty good at creating products, bringing them to market, how to drive traffic, how to create sales copy, all that kind of stuff started to come a little bit more natural. Just like anything, practice makes perfect, and same thing as being an online entrepreneur. And so, you know, partners help me get to that next stepping stone. And then you'll know once you're at this phase, because when you reach this phase in your business, it becomes pretty crystal clear that you know what you're doing. You've proven that you can generate money online and whatever it is that you do. And you can start to maybe bring some of the talent that you had part-time over full-time. Maybe at this point you have a few full-time people and maybe a few part-time people. Okay. But then as you start to grow even more, okay, you start growing, smartly. So just like any larger organization, you have, what are called team leads, or people who are managing that group of people. And so that's kind of where I've been able to take my business now. And it took 3 or 4 years to do something like this. But now we have a team of developers, and we have a lead developer who manages those developers, and then we have a lead designer who manages a few other contractors that we have for design work, and then we have a customer support person who's our team lead, and then he manages one or two other customer support guys, and then we have just a few general assistants who help with just basic stuff. And so as you start to departmentalize, and you can start, this is when the scaling and the growth can really take place. And that's when you can really get out of the whole day-to-day operations, and you can let your managers or your team leads manage all of the day-to-day work. And this is not just for online businesses. This can be for any type of business. Okay. Now, before you can go and do this, you need to really understand what are the goals of outsourcing. Okay. The goals of outsourcing are not, well, it is different for everybody, but I can tell you this, it's not to just be lazy. It's not to just be to go out and say, oh, well, I have someone that can go and do this. I don't have to, I can just sit on my couch and watch movies all day long, right? It's not to be lazy, okay? It is not to open your day to focus on, it is to open your day to focus on business growth and development, the strategic things with your business, okay? Understanding what is going to make you more money in your business and starting to figure out ways to implement it in a more strategic way, okay? That should be the goals of outsourcing. Now, obviously, a byproduct of outsourcing can be that you can enjoy things more, like personal things like spending time with family and going on vacations and going to conferences and doing all that kind of stuff, okay? So if you're thinking that outsourcing and scaling your business is just a way for you to be lazy, this isn't going to work. Okay, it's not going to work. You're not going to be able to grow your business, and good solid businesses are not grown from lazy people. Okay, now there are a few different ways to outsource. Right, there what I call the white collar and blue collar mentality, where it's basically spend more money. Make more money, but not really necessarily make, not really able to exponentially grow your business. Okay. It's let me work more hours and I'll make more money, right? Let me, if I can make, $100,000 a year working 40 hours a week, well, let me just continuously, let me work harder. Let me work 50, let me work 60 hours a week, and you'll start to make, a little bit more money, but not anything life changing, right? The white collar mentality is, well, let me invest the revenue that I've generated, my profits, into smart people who can then help me grow my business exponentially. Okay. Because you can only take a business so far by yourself, right? I mean, at some point you either get so burned out or there's only so many hours in the day, and your traits, whatever it is that you do well is limited, right? You can only do so many things so well. And so it's important to realize first off, what's eating up your day, okay? Where are you spending the majority of your day? And it's different for everybody. Are you spending your day on Skype, on Twitter, on Facebook? Are you on your phone all day? It's important to understand what it is that's eating up your day, okay? Understand what you are good at, and more importantly, what you are not good at, okay? There are a lot of stubborn entrepreneurs. Being an entrepreneur, a big trait is being stubborn, right? I'm here to tell you that you cannot be stubborn when it comes to identifying what you are bad at. Okay, I am bad at a number of things, of which I've realized, okay, or people have told me, and I've adapted, and I've hired people to do those things that I'm not good at. Okay, I had a previous partner. He was one of the most brilliant developers, designers that I knew. Okay, he was brilliant, but one thing he was bad at was customer support. He was bad at it. Okay, I identified that, and we resolved it by hiring a technical support person that could manage tickets and stuff like that. Okay, so it's important for you to understand what you're good at, what you're not good at. If you're going to have a partner, you need to understand what they're good at, what they're not good at. Okay, and that's going to help you devise a plan for how to grow your business. Okay. Now, do you even know for sure what's eating up your day? Well, surprisingly, a lot of people don't. So what you need to do, and this is a really easy exercise, it takes about 3 days to do, is grab a notebook and a pen, okay, and write down everything that you do. Now, don't, if you go to the bathroom for a minute, don't write that down, but record the main things that are eating up your day, and record how long it takes to do each of your tasks. Okay. And you'll start to see trends and patterns over those 3 days. And most importantly, what you want to do is separate those tasks and things that you're doing between non-revenue and revenue related tasks. What things are you doing that it's eating up half of your day, and it's not even contributing to bringing in revenue into the business. Okay. I'm talking about, answering pointless emails and, talking on your phone and whatever it may be. Okay. The revenue related tasks, I'm talking about things that are going to generate business or going to generate sales for you, whether it's working on creating a new product, working with affiliates to promote your products, working on building your email list, which is going to generate revenue. Okay. Those are revenue related tasks. So I ask you, what is eating up your day? Okay. So it's important that you like I said, identify those things, and then that'll allow you to take appropriate action. Okay. It's important to stop working in your business. Okay. Remove yourself from the day-to-day time consuming tasks. And I understand that it's one of the hardest things to do. It was very hard for me to lose control of certain things in my business. Okay. But there are ways to go about doing it. Okay. You need to remove distractions. Okay. Figure out what is distracting you throughout the day and remove them, right? My office, and I may have told you that, guys, this if you're on a previous webinar, it is a desk with basically nothing on it. It's my computer, it's my keyboard and mouse, and this little USB microphone that I use for webinars and doing recording and stuff like that. There's nothing, and a notepad just for taking notes and going over tasks that I have to do each day. That's it. There's no papers. There's no garbage laying around. There's really not much else in my office. And being able to remove those distractions helps you to think clearly and stay focused. Okay. Now, you want to focus working on your business. So like I was saying, so it's the opposite of those day-to-day things. So you want to be able to focus on strategy and business development. What things can you do strategically to grow your business? Okay. For example, one thing that I did was I looked at all of my top affiliate partners, my top 10 affiliate partners, and I figured out a way to interact with them on a more personal, closer basis, and figure out ways that we could work even closer and generate more revenue based on those affiliates that have already proven that they're pushing sales to my products. Okay. So you want to focus on those things that are driving revenue. Okay. You want to be able to automate as much as you can. Okay. I'll give you a perfect example. When I was doing client work, okay, and I was doing a lot of search engine optimization, one of the things with search engine optimization was monitoring our keyword rankings. And I used to, start monitoring keywords just manually. And oh my God, that was so time consuming. And so I would check Google, Yahoo, and Bing for where they rank for their keywords. And obviously you could imagine trying to scale and grow that out and pull up reports manually, which took days, right? And then I found a piece of software that could automate it. And so I could put in the keywords, it could fire off an email once a week, once a month to the client. And I wouldn't even need to manually pull reports and go over them. It automatically gets sent to them. Okay. So automate as much as you can and find tools and software and things that can help you automate. Okay. Now, outsource as little or as much as you can right now. Okay. Regardless of your budget, guys, everybody can outsource. It may only be five hours a week or 5 hours a month. I mean, it can be something very small, but that's a start. Okay, that's a start. You can start building contacts and relationships with people and start outsourcing today, as little as or as much as you can. Okay, it can make a massive impact. Okay, and it really is the biggest impact you can make by offloading some of that day-to-day stuff. Okay. Now, there's lots of different places to find qualified outsourcers. Okay, there's outsourcing websites. I still use odesk.com as my main source of finding outsourcers. Okay, freelance.com, elance.com. Those are great sites. There's a lot of great outsource workers on there. There's what are called crowdsourcing sites, where if you need a logo done, you could go to 99 Designs and put in a description of the logo that you want, and you have all these people who are designers that are creating logos. And guess what? You only have to pay for the one that you like. So you get all these different designs and concepts. You may get 10, 15 different designs, and you only have to pay for the one that you like the most. Okay. So there's lots of crowdsourcing sites out there, not only for logo design, but other things as well. There's tons of job boards out there. Just, you can Google whatever your keyword is and job board and find tons of people that way. Okay. You can reverse engineer quality software and designers. This is something that I love to do. I'll go out, if I see a piece of software that I really like and has really impressed me, I'll try to reverse engineer who created that product. Maybe it's the developer themselves, or maybe it's someone else. I could contact them and say, hey, I was just curious, is the person that you use, is that a full-time employee, or is it a freelancer? And sometimes they'll say, oh, it's a freelancer. Here's their contact information. Feel free to contact them. I only hired them for this project, or, I don't have the budget to pay someone full-time. And so that's a good way to find quality workers, right? Same thing with copy, right? Who wrote your sales copy? I'd love to be able to talk to them. Referrals are one of my favorites. Talking to different people in your industry and say, oh, hey, loved what you did. Can you recommend everybody or anyone? Just like in the offline world, right? You get a new roof on your house. Oh, they did a really good job. They did it on time. It was affordable. I'm going to refer that person to other people, right? So referrals are a great way, and it can be a proven person that you can work with immediately. Okay. Virtualstafffinder.com. If you guys know who Chris Ducker is, he's a really good guy. He's an outsource expert, and he created Virtual Staff Finder, and they help you to find specifically Filipino workers. He moved his operation out to the Philippines, and Filipino workers are great for most types of jobs. They're great for marketing work. They're great for design work. They're good for just general virtual assistance. Very inexpensive. You can find people for $3 or $4 an hour. They're hard workers. They're dedicated. They're very reliable. They have great English skills. Very, I think it's educated. They'll most of them have some sort of a college degree. So Virtual Staff Finder, if you're looking for a little bit of help to find qualified Filipinos, definitely check them out. Now, there's different parts of the world that I like to hire from. In the U.S., those are mainly people that I'm going to partner with on a more strategic level. People that, are native English speaking, have a really, an education. Now, these people are more expensive, right? So sometimes I just like to partner with people where we're working towards, a revenue share for a product or a business. And so that's usually where I'll go for in the U.S. Now, again, like I said, in the Philippines is great for general VAs, for designers, for marketers. In Eastern Europe, like places like Russia, Ukraine, Moldova, Romania, Bulgaria, those are all really good places for finding developers and programmers. For whatever reason, there's just a ton of them out there. I try not to be biased, but I've hired a lot of people from India when I first started, just because they're so cheap, and a lot of them just they get in that yes mentality, like they can do anything. I try to stay away from India. For programming and development, Eastern Europe is awesome. I mean, I've had such great experiences with them. For design work, I've hired people from all over the place. A lot of people in the Philippines, some people, one guy in Singapore, two guys in Singapore. So, I mean, they're really all over the place. And you'll start to notice that certain parts of the world are better for hiring for certain tasks that you need done. Okay. Now, there's a few things that you want to be cautious with when hiring. Okay. That yes syndrome. Okay. You're going to get that a lot. People that say, oh, sure, I can do it. I can do this, I can do that. Doesn't even matter what you say. Hey, can you come shine my shoes? Sure, I'll come do that. Right. Like they're going to fly from wherever. And you need to be careful with that. Okay. You need to talk to them and say, well, what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses? If they don't say any weaknesses, you got to be careful. Okay. Because they get in that yes syndrome. They want your business. They want your money. So they'll do whatever it takes to get the job. And most of the time, those people are the ones that are going to do a terrible job. Okay. Feedback and ratings on places like Odesk, there are pros and cons to that. Yes, feedback and ratings can be a general sense of how well a person is going to do working for you, but it can be misleading because those workers, they understand that people are reading that feedback and looking at their ratings, and if they have bad feedback, a lot of people are going to pass over them. So what they do is they contact the product creators or the person that hired them and say, hey, I'll basically do this for free as long as you don't put negative feedback. And so I can't tell you how many times people have contacted me and I've left a negative review for them. And, maybe I paid them, whatever, $500 or whatever it was, whatever the contract was for. And it's amazing what they'll do to not have bad feedback. Okay. And they'll give you your money back. They'll work extra hours. They'll do whatever it takes sometimes. And that's usually it's too late at that point because you're already given them negative feedback. So feedback and ratings can be misleading. Okay. You need to think about how many jobs are they currently fulfilling, right? That's one downfall to hiring a part-time contractor is that, that contractor is probably working with 5, 10, 15 different jobs. And they don't necessarily, they're not relying solely on the money that you are paying them. Okay. So if you need to ask them, well, how many jobs are you currently working on? And how is that going to impact whatever it is that you want them to do? Okay. If people ask for a lot up front, okay, if you are doing a job and they say, hey, I want, $2,000 up front, or I'm not even going to start the project. That could be a red flag that, hey, I don't know if I want to work with this guy. He may just be a scammer. It's something you have to be careful of. Most people are genuine and authentic, and you're going to get you may not get what you want, but they're going to at least try to give you what they say or what you guys agree upon. Okay. But there are those people, I've been screwed before where I've paid someone, thousands of dollars, and they either just run off with it or they do a little bit of work and you never hear from them again. Okay. That kind of stuff happens. Okay. Now, there is a way to speed up this process of finding good qualified workers. Okay. The very first thing that they need, okay, is good communication. Okay. And you're going to know right off the bat. The first thing I do is I talk to them on Skype, and then I have a phone interview with them. Okay. If they don't, the first thing I do is talk to them on Skype. If they can chat with me and type, halfway decent English so I can actually understand them, that's the first test. The second test is getting them on the phone and seeing if you can talk to them. Okay. So this is the number one factor that I look at. You need to have good communication, because if you can't even communicate with them, you are in for a world of hurt. It's not going to be fun. Okay. What I love to do is find an expert that you know and trust that can help assist you with hiring. Okay. When I'm not a developer, okay, I'm not a coder, but I do software. Okay. I create lots of software. And so what I do is rely on the people that I know who are developers that I know and trust. And I say, hey, would you mind taking 5 minutes, 10 minutes out of your day and interviewing this guy? Or hey, which questions should I ask them, and what are the types of responses I should be getting? Okay, because you don't know what you don't know. And if you go and hire someone that's a developer and you're not a developer, he could tell you anything he wants, and you don't know any better. You don't know if he's telling you if this is the right way to go about it or the wrong way. You don't know. Okay, and so it's important to find someone that you can lean on, whether it's a partner, whether it's just an expert, someone that you met before that you know is reliable and trustworthy. Maybe it's someone on your own staff. Maybe there is someone that's reliable that can help you with that process. So it's very, very important, okay, to know what specific questions to ask, what job description do they need. Make sure that you specifically map out the skills that they need. Okay, make sure that they're following directions. Okay, you can even split test people. Okay, we do this all the time. We'll have one job available, one opening. We'll hire 3 or 4 people, and we'll give them small tasks to do. Start with a small task and see how long it takes them to do it. How efficient are they? Are they completing it as you wanted, as the requirements were? Okay, how is their communication? Okay, are they going above and beyond? Okay, did they accomplish the task correctly and completely? Okay. And one of the things I absolutely love, and this is very hard to find, is who is thinking outside of the box, right? Who will take your concept that you have and say, oh, well, wouldn't it be cool if we did X, Y, and Z, right? Or, what if we did it this way? And I'll come back and say, oh, I never thought of that. It's a great idea. So if you can find people who can think outside the box for themselves, that is great, because you'll start to notice when you hire people, a lot of them you need to handhold them. You need to tell them, this is what I want you to do. This is how I want you to do it. And they just follow directions. Okay. If you can get someone who can think on their own and improve on whatever it is that you're doing, that's usually a keeper. Okay. Now, you do not want to throw these people to the wolves, right? You don't want to give them too many tasks at once. You don't want to, just say, here, this is what I want you to do, go do it, right? With no training, no training on, your business systems, your processes, okay? So what I like to do is provide documentation, give them examples, right? Give them video walkthroughs, give them PDFs, give them some sort of a reference guide or sheet that they can follow to ensure that they're doing whatever it is that they need to do the right way, okay? If it's a marketing related task, I'm going to record how I do it. Okay, I'm going to record how I do it. I'll send that to them, and that's a reference point for them that they can follow and improve on if they find new ways of doing something. Okay, so it's important that you do not give them too much where they're overwhelmed, and that you provide them and assist them with the right type of information. Okay. Well, real quick, before I go to the next slide, I've actually created little portals for my virtual assistants. So, there's certain things that I do just on an ongoing basis. And so I may bring on more or less virtual assistants. And so instead of going and hiring someone and saying, and having to train them every single time, I just say, here, go into this area. Here's a whole bunch of videos that you can watch. I want you to watch all the videos. Based on those videos, I want you to do the task. And then we'll take a look at the task that you did, and we'll make any adjustments that we need to. Okay. It takes very little time for you. There's maybe a little bit of upfront time to do that, create the documentation or the walkthroughs. But once it's done, it's smooth sailing from there. Okay. Now, a lot of people, you're going to ask, well, how much should I pay them, right? Obviously, if you're bootstrapping, you're on a small budget, you can't maybe afford to pay a full-time person, right? So the first thing you need to ask is, are these people part-time or full-time, right? If they're full-time, you can probably get a little bit of a better deal because they're full-time, they're working for you. You can guarantee them a certain number of hours, 40 hours a week, okay? Whereas part-time, they're not solely working for you. They may be trying to scrap enough money to get by from other jobs, okay? So you may pay a little bit more, but you have more flexibility on the hours, right? What's their position in your business, right? Developers usually make the most, okay, compared to, say, a designer. Maybe a designer would be just under him, and then a marketing person would be under him, and then a general VA would be under him. So, there's different, depending on what position he has in your business, that's going to affect how much you should pay them. Obviously, experience. How much experience do they have? How many, if you're building a piece of software, have they done this type of software before? Have they created sales pages? How much experience do they have creating sales pages? What type of, what type of quality is it? Okay. And then the other thing is where they live, right? The cost of living is dramatically different depending on where you live in the world. Okay. The US, the UK, those are, Australia, those are higher cost of livings compared to, Pakistan, India, the Philippines. You can live off of $250 a month or $300 a month in the Philippines. Okay. Just because everything costs less. Okay. The cost of living is a lot cheaper. Okay. Now, the difference between part-time and full-time, again, we kind of talked about some of this. Full-time people, they can deliver predictable, consistent results. And the reason that is because there's that accountability, right? If they're full-time, they're not working for anybody else. And so, they realize that if they don't produce, if they don't do what you're asking of them, well, they're probably going to get fired, right? And so there's better pricing that comes along with full-time people because you're guaranteeing them, full-time work. Okay, they're being held accountable. If they mess up, if they're not doing what they should be doing, it's on them. Whereas if they're part-time, they they're working with a bunch of different people on a job, or they have 4 or 5 other jobs. So what? Okay, it didn't work out for this company. I'll go and find another job, right? Now the pros to doing it part time is it allows you to gradually scale. As you need more people, or as you have more work for people, you can add more hours to them. Part-timers can let you hire an expert for a specific task. Like, maybe you need to bring in a designer to create some banners for your product, right? You can bring them in for that specific task. You pay them, X number of dollars, and then they go away, or they're there the next time you need them. Okay. Now, this is a general rule of thumb for an outsourcing salary guide. Okay. Again, this is a general rule of thumb. I've hired people for less and for more than what you're looking at right now. But on average, okay, a general virtual assistant working full time is about $400 to $750 a month. Okay. Like I said, I've hired people for $250 a month. Okay. It just depends on what you have them doing. All right. If you have them having to do any type of thinking, if there's thinking involved, you're going to have to pay them more than $250 a month. All right. If it's just general data entry where they're just entering data, you could probably get away with $250 a month. Okay. But for a full-time person, $400 to $750 a month. Okay. If you're looking for an article or a content writer, just someone maybe writing content for SEO purposes, $300 to $600 a month. If you're looking for someone to write, press release quality or article, ebook quality, well, then you're gonna have to probably pay $600 to $1,000 a month. Okay. For that level of content. Okay. For SEO, web marketers, maybe building backlinks, doing on-page optimization, around $600 to $800. Web developers, I'll tell you this right now, it's hard to find a very solid web developer for under $1,000 a month. Okay. I'm not talking about, like if you want to hire someone from India for $400 a month, you can probably find it, but you're going to find a lot of bugs. And I'm not trying to, point the finger at an entire country. Believe me, I actually have an Indian developer. I actually have 2 other developers that are both from Pakistan. Okay. It's not to say that, I would never hire from those countries. I'm just saying that just generally from my experiences, it's hard to find solid developers. Now, sometimes you'll find a diamond in the rough for $600 a month that does an outstanding job. Okay. It's hard to find that, but it happens. Okay. But if you're trying to find a solid web developer, you're going to pay a little bit more, depending on the programming language. And I don't want to get into too much involved, but things like Ruby's on Rails and some other types of development technology, you could pay $1,500 to $2,000 a month. Okay, it just depends. Okay. Graphic designers, this is probably the biggest range. Well, no, development is, but underneath that would be graphic designers, anywhere between $500 and $1,000 a month. You can find solid designers for around that. And the good thing about design work is that it's more visually, you can tell if someone has a good style or not just from looking at their sales pages. Whereas with development, you need to really know your stuff. You need to be more technical and know if the code is good or not. Audio and video guys, like people doing editing and maybe animation work, that could run between $500 and $1,200 a month. Mobile app developers, those are generally a little bit more expensive. There's not as many of them out there. That's going to be about $800 to $1,400 a month. Okay. Okay. Let me just go see if you guys have any questions while I'm going through here. I know I've been kind of moving kind of quick. Yeah, John said a little while ago, outsourcing is not for laziness, it's for efficiency. That's totally right. Okay. Scott said, copywriter ? Were you just wondering how much for a copywriter? It like I said before, it depends. Like article content writing, $300 to $600 a month. If you need someone to write sales copy, it is all over the place. I mean, I've hired copywriters for $10,000 for a sales copy or for sales letter. I don't generally do that. I usually like to hire per project for copywriting, just because it's hard for me. It's hard to find someone full time. I mean, I've tried doing the full time copywriter before. I generally don't have enough work for them to do, because I have, I'll have, sales copy. Basically, when I outline a copywriting project, there's the sales letter, there's the one-time offer funnels. Maybe there's 2 pages of one-time offer copy. There's email swipes. Maybe there's some banner copy, and that's about it. And so I usually just do a project cost, and it could range anywhere between $2,000-$3,000 for that. Believe me, I can bootstrap it for $100 if I want to. Okay, and I've done that before. The first 6-figure launch I did was a $100 sales letter that I found a guy in the Warrior Forum. So sometimes you don't need to have expensive copywriters. Okay, you could just use general good sales copywriting skills, and you can do it yourself. I've done it myself before. It really does depend. Okay. How and when to pay your outsourced workers? Usually I pay my guys every 2 weeks, sometimes every month. Fees can really add up, especially if they're in different countries. PayPal usually has the best fees, okay, or Zoom.com, XOOM.com. That's great for the Philippines. I believe it's like $5 to send money to the Philippines. When you start doing wire transfers, Western Union, guys in Pakistan, India, you're paying those guys like, $45 for a wire transfer. So it can start to add up. So sometimes those guys I'll pay every month instead of every 2 weeks. Just helps to cut down on fees for transferring. Okay. Now, here are just some general business productivity tools, right? These are all the different tools that we use on a daily basis. Things like just general email. We'll use Google Apps, which will allow us to add email addresses and share Google Calendars and Google Docs and all that kind of stuff. We use LastPass. Okay, this is just to store all of our passwords. You don't have to go hunting for passwords. Everything's stored. Just lets you log into your different accounts much more efficiently. We use Xmarks for bookmarks. We can sync all of our bookmarks across, my home machine, my laptop, so if you need to reference something later on. For larger files, we'll use things like Dropbox and Google Drive, which is, like a cloud-based hard drive. Great for sharing folders and files with outsourced workers. For taking notes, collaborating on notes, we'll use Evernote. For our accounting, we use FreshBooks, which, if we need to send invoices to clients. For our support desk, we use Freshdesk. For screenshots and screencasting, we use Jing Project, which just allows you to take real quick snapshots and upload it, and then you can send someone a link to look at it. For time tracking, we use we were using Rescue Time. We actually use something called Hubstaff now. Hubstaff is fairly cheap. They have different plans, so I'm not sure exactly what it is now. But Hubstaff will keep time tracking, and you can monitor what your staff is doing. That's a big one. A lot of people always ask, well, how do you make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing? Especially if you're paying them per hour. Okay, if you're paying them per project, it really doesn't matter. I mean, you want to make sure that they're efficient, but it's not like if they go on Facebook for a few hours that you're paying for those hours, right? So if you're paying people, salary, which most of my guys are. We like to make sure that they're using Hubstaff, so it takes screenshots of their work, and I can track and monitor and make sure that they're not slacking off. Wunderlist is good just for to-dos, it's just an online to-do thing. But I'll be honest, I like to just I have a little notepad that I use for to-dos. MindMeister is good for mind mapping. I love to mind map stuff, especially if I'm creating a new project, if I'm outlining something, whatever it may be. I love to just create a mind map just to kind of mind dump everything out there and organize how I'm going to, outline a course or whatever it may be. Mockflow is awesome. It's great for wireframing. So if you want to, maybe you're outlining what a membership site is going to look like, or what a web application is going to look like, I'll actually mock it up, and then I'll send that over to a designer, and then they'll design it. Okay. TeamViewer is great for desktop sharing if you need to share a desktop with someone. Communication, we do almost everything through Skype in terms of our day-to-day phone calls and chatting. And then our project management, we actually use Basecamp now. So we've used a few different project management tools, but we use Basecamp. So I mean, just to kind of give you a general overview of kind of my career in terms of outsourcing, growing, scaling my business, you need to scale the right way. So obviously, when I was making, $150,000 that year in 2012, I didn't necessarily have a massive team. I had a few people to help. I had a developer, I had a general assistant. But then as I started to scale it out and I started to grow and had more partners, generated about $1.5 million in sales, I was able to hire more, a general assistant, a designer, a customer service guy, developer. And now in 2014, because we've been able to grow to an 8-figure business, we've been able to create teams. And even the teams, the team that I have now, it's still very streamlined, and it's still very, it's still, everybody still has access to me when they need me, but only if it reaches a certain point, right? If there's a certain question that I need to make a decision on, they can bring it to me and I can make that decision, but not until they get through a few lines of defense, which is really meant to obviously improve on your efficiencies and allow you to focus on those strategic parts of your business. Okay. Let me go ahead and chime in on a few questions here right now. This is a good question for some questions. Good time for some questions. Game developers, Rick, I don't do anything with game development, so I don't want to mislead you and say that I do. I've noticed that mobile developers, which are mainly game developers, tend to be in Europe, or not in Europe, in Eastern Europe. So Russia, Romania, those are Ukraine. Those are really good places for developers, okay, or for game developers, from what I've heard. Okay. You mentioned a keyword tool that saves you much time. Is that available? Yeah. So, well, right now we actually built our own product called Nutshell Metrics, which is great for keyword rankings, backlink monitoring, a whole bunch of things. It's what we basically built it out of necessity for our offline business, and now we sell it as an application. But you could use Market Samurai. There's lots of different keyword tools out there. Scott, yeah, you say, proud of your success looks so complicated. It's really not. Don't get me wrong. Anyone who is a successful entrepreneur, you work your butt off, right? Even if you're not successful, you have to work your butt off just to survive as an online entrepreneur. But, growing to this level, it's not as hard as you think. Once you have the right, what's the word I'm looking for? Right, once you have the right skill set to manage people, it becomes so much easier. Once you have the right skill set to manage people and you have the right software and tools, it becomes, and systems in place. Okay. And I could talk about this for days. Unfortunately, we don't have all day. But once you have the right systems in place, it becomes so much more easier, and it brings a lot more clarity to your business. And so that, hopefully you guys are already a part of this, but I do want to mention that on October 14th, which is next week, we are going to be beginning our 6-week seller kickstart workshop. And so, we're going to be talking about all of this stuff in much more detail over 6 weeks. The reason that I'm putting this program on, guys, if you guys haven't already joined, is I don't want you guys to make the same mistakes that I did. Okay. When I first started, I had no real system or processes. Okay. I learned as I went. I tested a whole bunch of different strategies and methods, and I failed a whole bunch of times. And more importantly, I wasted a lot of money, and I didn't really have a coach to help me. Okay. And so I created this 6-week workshop to get you from point A, which is starting off, not really having any direction, not having contacts, not having products or services, or building an email list, all the foundational things you need to be successful online, and get you to point B in as short amount of time as possible. And I've learned a lot. I've failed a lot. I've made a lot of mistakes over my 4 years of being an online entrepreneur. And I knew if I could do it if I had to do it all over again, I could cut that time by 5. Okay, I could I could be so much more successful, so much faster if I had a coach and if I had a system in place. And so don't make the same mistakes that I did. And so I want to give you guys a word of warning that this course is not for everybody. This is going to be a fast-paced environment. I want people who are passionate, who are driven, who are ready to hit the ground running on October 14th, and who are action takers, who are going to take the things that we talk about in the 6 weeks and actually implement it, actually take action. If you're a person that just keeps on buying product after product and not actually doing anything, you just say, "Oh, well, I'll get to it at some point." I don't want you to be part of this program, okay? I want people who are ready to hit the ground running, who are motivated and are ready to dramatically improve their life and their business, okay? That's what's motivated. That's how I got to where I am today, okay? And I'm proud of the success that I have. I'm proud of the success of other people, other students that I've worked with, where it's changed their life. They're able to spend time with their family. I work out of my home office. I do that on purpose so I can spend time with my wife and my 3-year-old daughter because I love doing that. Okay. Now we're going to be talking about not only basic but advanced strategies that work. Okay. I'll talk about things that this isn't theory. Okay. This is all stuff that I have done, that I've watched other people do, and that it currently works today and it's going to work. This is foundational stuff for your online business. Okay. So what I've done, I've been extremely busy with lots of different products and things that I've been working on over the last few years, and I've never really done a program like this where I sat down and am 100% committed for this amount of time. And so for 6 weeks, I am 100% committed to you guys. Okay, I give you everything that you need to be successful. Okay, I am there to help you be successful and answer your questions along the way. Okay. Now, I'm looking for no more than 300 action takers as part of this workshop. Okay. It's a one-time payment, and there's 14 spots left at our discounted price. Okay. For the first 100 people, it's one payment of $997. Okay. After those 100 spots are filled, it's going to go to $1497. So there are 14 spots left. Okay. This is the third session that we've done. Okay, over the last week, and we filled almost 100 spots. And I can guarantee you, as we start to get closer to the 14th, which is just in 6 days, these spots are going to go even faster. And so we're going to be bumping it up to $1,500 for this workshop very soon. So you can go to sellerkickstart.com/join, and that'll take you directly to the checkout page where you can go and become a member. Now, I'm going to put that into the GoToWebinar chat panel, so you can click on that link and join. Now, once you do become a member, after you check out from sellerkickstart.com/join, you're going to go to this thank you page. Okay, the thank you page is going to have a welcome video from me, and then it's also going to ask you to do two things. The first thing is connect with me on Skype. I've already connected with a number of you who have already joined the program, so I'm excited to talk to you more on a one-on-one basis. Now, obviously, there's going to be a maximum of 300 students, and I wanted to keep this relatively small, and I'm going to try to give as much one-on-one attention as I can, but keep in mind that this is a group format, okay? And I want you guys to be able to learn from each other, from questions that you're asking, and for me to help you answer them. I'm also going to be bringing on some special guests as part of the training. One of the guests being Todd Brown, who is a marketing funnel expert. So in week 4, I believe, we talk about marketing funnels, and he'll be one of those guests. And so here is a quick breakdown of what we're going to be covering. Okay. In week 1, we talk all about the foundation. Okay. How the things that you need in an online business to be successful. Okay. Everything from, how to be efficient with your time, how to be proactive, how to create systems, how to, even things like legal and accounting things that you should think about with your business, all sorts of things, how the foundation of building an email list. Okay. There's all sorts of stuff that you're going to learn in that first week. Now, there are 6 weeks here, as you can see, and there's 12 live sessions. Okay. We're going to have 12 live workshops, 2 sessions per week covering the content that was, through that week. So week 1 is the foundation. Week 2 is market research. I'm going to help you guys find out about your target audience, how to select the right niche, how to be passionate about that niche, how to learn what your competitors do right, what they do wrong, how to create products that you know your audience is going to want. Where is your audience? Where are they going? Where are they buying your products? Okay. Week 3 is all about actual product creation. So you're going to learn everything from how to create ebooks and how to do video training courses, how to create full-blown membership sites, software. I'm going to talk a lot about software because that's a lot of what I do, but we'll talk about everything. But if you're interested in software, this is definitely a must-need workshop that you should be on. Okay. We're going to talk about marketing funnels and optimization in week 4. So how to maximize your earnings per visitor, okay, your earnings per buyer, how to get 5 to 10 times more out of each buyer. And that's really one of the ways that I've been able to scale my business. It's not necessarily acquiring more buyers, it's getting more out of them. Okay. Once they buy from you once, getting them to buy from you again, getting them to buy not only $17 products, but $500 products, that $1,000 products and programs. Okay. Week 5 is product marketing and promotions. So it's going to be all about traffic. We're going to talk about Facebook traffic, webinar traffic, email list traffic, JV affiliate traffic, retargeting traffic, all different types of traffic. So that we're going to spend an entire week on that. And then week 6 is about scaling. So obviously during this hour that we've been talking, I kind of scratched the surface. We're going to spend a whole week on scaling and growing your business and adding a zero onto your bottom line. So taking a 5-figure business to 6-figure, 6-figure to 7-figure, 7-figure to 8-figure. I'm going to show you those roadblocks that I've had along the way and how you can overcome them. Okay. So again, sellerkickstart.com/join. Okay. Feel free to just leave a chat in the box, your name and that you guys have joined. I want to just welcome you guys. For any of you guys that have already joined, I see a whole bunch of people on this call that are already part of Seller Kickstart, and I can already tell who the action takers are. So congratulations to you guys. Now, I wanted to make this a total no-brainer offer, guys. So I do have one of the boldest guarantees that I've ever made. And that guarantee is if you're not satisfied after the entire workshop, okay, after the 6-week workshop, you pay nothing. Okay. If you don't double your sales, you don't pay a cent. Okay. If you don't double your sales and at least recoup your investment into the program, okay, you can get your money back. Okay. I'm taking 100% of the risk. Okay. But I want action takers. I don't want people who pay the money and then say, oh, well, maybe I'll just get a refund. It was good, but you didn't actually take action. Okay. I want people who are dedicated, motivated to want to be a part of this and ask questions along the way and have me help you get you to where you want to be. Okay. I want action takers. Okay. Now I've also added a 3-payment plan for those of you who, $997, that one-time payment is a little bit too much for you, but you really want to be part of this. I did break it up into 3 payments for you. So you can do 3 payments and you can get started today at $397. Okay. So there'll be 1 payment today at $397. After 30 days, there'll be another payment of $397. After 30 days after that, another payment of $397. You can go to sellerkickstart.com/3x to use our payment plan. Okay. So I'm trying to make this as simple, as easy, and as affordable as possible for you guys. Okay. Now I will take some questions from you guys. John, I can already tell he said, I'm going to be one of your success stories. I already know John definitely sounds like a go-getter. We've already kind of had a little bit of interaction. And so again, we are starting on October 14th. Okay. What's included is 12 live workshop sessions. Okay. These are going to be live sessions where we're going to have content involved in those sessions, as well as Q&A. I'll have you guys on the webinars if you want to talk on the webinars. We could even talk through your business, and I'm sure it's going to help everybody in the community, everyone else that's going to be on the calls. So I'm more than happy to bring you on and we can talk about your business, a product that you have. If you want me to look over something, I'm more than happy to do that. Those live work sessions are for you guys. They're going to be interactive. I want you guys to get a lot out of them. We'll rock on these workshops for 4 hours if you want to. I mean, if people are on asking questions, I want you guys to get the most out of this. All right. Then we also have the foundational training. So for each week, there's foundational training that you can go and watch at your leisure. Okay. We're only going to release the first 2 weeks worth of training. We're going to release that actually starting Friday. This Friday, we're going to be sending out the accounts to everybody. Okay. And then on Tuesday is when we start the live workshop sessions. Okay. We're doing this on purpose so that people do not go ahead. Okay. And I've done this before where we released a whole bunch of content at once, and we have people asking questions, in advance to stuff that we're not even covering yet. So I want people to all be on the same page. And so that's why we're going to drip out the content. We're only going to release the first 2 weeks of foundational training, right away. And then after that, we'll start dripping out each week, followed up with each of the live work sessions. Okay. There are also 8 bonuses, which I'll cover here in a second. You'll have access to our private Facebook group as well. And then you'll also get priority support from me. Like I said, guys, you can immediately after you become a Seller Kickstart member, you're going to go to the thank you page. I want you guys to add me on Skype so we can talk, we can start to interact as we start moving forward in the workshop. Okay. Let me go ahead and answer any questions that you guys have. You can go to sellerkickstart.com and you can look at the entire sales page, which gives you a much more detailed outline of everything that's included. But I'm going to scroll down the sales page and show you guys some of the bonuses. So bonus number 1 is my home office setup. I'm going to show you guys how I set up my home office to be extremely efficient with cranking out high quality audio and high quality video. And coupled with that bonus is the equipment list. So everything that I use from, what audio devices do I use? What camera do I use? All that type of stuff to create all different types of content. Okay. And you don't have to worry. It's nothing too expensive. You can definitely start on a shoestring budget and improve on your equipment as your business starts to grow. Now, another bonus that I wasn't actually going to add in here, but I decided to do it anyways because so many people always ask me this, and they say, do you have preferred providers, preferred designers, developers, support people that I can contact? And so I'm going to give you guys a Rolodex of designers, video editors, support staff, developers that can help you with your products. All right. You can't do everything yourself. You need help. And so I've tried to find the people that I feel are qualified, that I've worked with personally, that are affordable. Okay. And it's hard to find that balance of people who are affordable and who deliver good quality. Okay. I have exact landing page templates that you can use specifically for optimized press. You can import these, and they're everything from sales pages and squeeze pages and membership pages and login pages, and you can utilize these for your own products. Okay, just kind of give you a jump start onto creating the different pages. Okay, I'll give you guys a whole bunch of split test results showing you, A/B split tests for ads and sales pages and squeeze pages, and show you which ones converted and which ones didn't and why they failed. And that'll help just to give you guys and some insight as to, how you should craft your ads, your squeeze pages for best conversions. Okay. I'll give you guys a support kit. This support kit will help you to uncover unseen issues or potential issues with your product that you can correct as soon as possible, and which can help you bring less support tickets, which ultimately leads to less overhead. Okay, there are so many different things that you can do to improve on support, and I've learned that across over the years. I've been really anal on support, and one thing that I love to do is turn my support desk into a revenue generation machine and upsell people on coaching programs and other products as people are contacting us for support. So there's a way that you can generate revenue from your support desk. Don't think of it as a negative thing. You'll get the physical product supplier list. So you'll be able to, if you're looking to take a digital product and turn it into a physical product, we'll show you lots of different providers for hardcover books, DVDs, workbooks, product books, or product boxes, all that kind of stuff. Those are great if if you attend a lot of workshops or events and things like that. You could pass them out as gifts or things like that. Fill in the blank email sequences. We've had expert copywriters write a whole bunch of different email sequences, like welcome emails and onboarding sequences, cancellation and rebuttal sequences to help improve refund rates. I'd say by 20%, if we use this rebuttal sequence, it decreases our refund rate by about 20 to 30%. Then we have this upsell and cross sell sequences. So, and then obviously with our money back guarantee. So you can take the entire workshop. On the very last day, you can still ask for a refund if you're not completely satisfied. That's how confident I am that if you follow this workshop, that you are going to get. You are totally going to get your money back or your investment back just through implementing what I teach you. Okay. All right. So, do you guys have any questions at all? I want to answer anything. I see a whole bunch of questions now, so I'm going to try to answer them. Can you recommend any books that might complement the workshop strategies taught during the 6 weeks, or anything you found ultra useful during your own development? Yeah. So, I'm not much of a bookworm, but I've read some books. The 4 Hour Work Week is a really good book. I don't really believe that there is such thing as a 4 hour work week, but I believe that I love the concept, and that really helps. Actually, what we're talking about today goes really well with that, with scaling and growing your business and outsourcing your entire day to other people and just managing that. So the 4 hour work week is a good one. Jeff Walker, if any of you guys know Jeff Walker, he's kind of like the godfather, I guess, of product launches. I think his new book that launched, or that came out about 3 months ago, I think it's just called Launch. If you go to Amazon, I think it was an Amazon bestseller for a while. That was a really good book. It talks about a lot of his history, talks about different launch strategies. We're going to talk a lot about that in the workshop, but that's also a good book as well. Let's see. I know you're going to show us how to develop and market individual products, but will you also show us how to structure and develop our higher end consulting offers like you've been able to do with your own? Yes, I will definitely do that. I already have a section in the training that talk about more higher end consulting, how to get higher end clients, because that is a different animal. Okay. It's a lot different than trying to sell a $17 ebook. Okay. And so, yes, that is something that we will cover. Okay. And I'm more than happy to cover it in detail and answer specific questions during our live sessions. Okay. One thing I forgot to add, guys, is this slide right here. We're going to be doing what's called on the fly training. So as questions come in during the workshop, I'm going to be answering those questions in a video format. So I'll go through your questions, and I want it to benefit the entire group. So what I'm going to do is gather up all those questions, organize it within the 6 weeks that we have outlined, and then I'm going to post new videos to the workshop or into the members area so everyone can benefit from it. So not only are you guys going to get the core video training and the live workshops, but then I'm also going to be adding more stuff in there as the course evolves and as I start getting more feedback from everybody. Okay. Let's see. What other questions? With everything going to apps and software to speed up results for all of us, can you help me to possibly streamline the material I want to teach people to implement in their lives and businesses by helping me to locate software developers that can create resources to help me help my market get the results they most want? Sure, John, we'll definitely talk about that. One of the things that I'm gonna shoot. Well, I have some videos on are how to hire for development specifically and what things to look into when doing software. There's a lot of right and wrong ways to build software. What type of coding framework do you use? Do you use PHP or ASP? Do you make it a web app? Do you make it an Adobe Air application, a desktop application? There's all those different types of questions. How do you update? How do you provide updates to people? We'll talk about all that kind of stuff. And I love talking about that stuff. That's fun. Will you teach us how to create or acquire bonuses and one-time offers to offer to our customers? Yes, we'll definitely talk about that. There are lots of different ways to either create or to gather bonuses and one-time offers. I do that stuff all the time for affiliate promotions. I offer lots of bonuses. I'll show you guys how to create sales funnels, and you don't even need to create the products themselves. Okay, I'll show you lots of different ways to do that. We'll talk about that in week 4 during marketing funnels. Okay. Okay. Anything else? Let me see here. Sorry, just grabbing a sip of water here. right. So are there any other questions? So guys, like I said, we're hitting the ground running on October 14th, which is coming up quick. It's less than a week. It's going to be next Tuesday. So after you join, add me on Skype, be part of our Facebook group. You're going to receive your login on this Friday, okay, with the first 2 weeks of content, as well as you can start signing up for the GoToWebinar sessions, the live sessions that we're going to have, okay, and have your questions ready. I want you guys to be active. I want you guys to participate, and the ones who participate, those are the ones that are going to get the most out of it, right? John, you're welcome. Really appreciate your no nonsense open book attitude. Yeah, I mean, guys, if you want like examples of certain stuff that I've done, I mean, for the most part, I don't mind logging into accounts and showing you guys some stuff. I mean, I'll I don't really have anything to hide, so I want to show you guys everything. I want to show you how I did what I did, and a lot of what I do is what a lot of other successful marketers do. Some guys share what they do, other guys don't. So I think you guys are going to get a lot out of this. Let's see. I have a question on particular reason online marketers do the 3 video sequence. Okay. I mean, we can definitely talk about that. I mean, I guess I don't know if there's a specific reason why 3, but generally a lot of guys use 3 video sequences for a pre-launch sequence to build up buzz and build up value for the product that they're going to launch. Like we did that with our Press Play launch last month. We tried to create, we created content that was complementary to the software that we launched, and we dripped out those 3 videos over the course of a week. Well, actually, it was 2 videos and a live webinar. And it was just part of our sales sequence to build a pre-launch list that we could mail when the cart opened, as well as to provide credibility, provide content and value to our potential customers. But we can definitely talk about that. I mean, it's kind of the short answer, I guess. Okay. All right, guys. So I think I've answered all the questions. I mean, obviously, I'll be answering. For when we do these live sessions, guys. I mean, I'll go as long as you guys want to, or as long as my voice can go. So we're gonna have a little bit more. We're gonna have some structure though with each week. Like so. We really want to focus, and we'll talk about this during the first session, is we're really going to want to focus on those questions and topics that are related to each week. So we don't skip ahead too much. Everybody's on the same page. Okay. But guys, I appreciate it. I already see a whole bunch of people on this call right now that are going to be part of the workshop. So I'm excited. I hope you guys are as well. I try to make this as affordable as possible for you guys. So sellerkickstart.com/join or /3x if you want to do the 3 payment plan. And you can get started for as little as $397. Obviously, you're going to pay a little bit more if you do the 3 payment plan, but you can at least hopefully it's a little bit more affordable and space things out for you. So thank you guys. Thank you, Kathy, Philip, John, Owen, Nikki, Pablo, Armando, Les. Thank you, Rick, everybody who chimed in and participated. So this is the last session in the 3-part workshop here, and then we're gonna rock and roll on Seller Kickstart on the 14th. So I look forward to talking to all of you guys then. If you didn't take advantage of the workshop, you still have a few more days to make your decision. If you guys have any questions, contact support at sellerkickstart.com, and we're more than happy to answer your questions. So I hope that everybody has a good rest of the day. And for the people that are part of Seller Kickstart, look for your logins on Friday. And I'll look forward to connecting with you guys on Skype as well. So have a good day, guys, and I'll talk to you very soon.